Welcome, everyone, to the Wishek Fantasy Football League News Podcast. I'm your host, Dave, the big Salami Salwai. My co-host, Donald, is gone today, apparently fulfilling date night with Ivanka, so filling in for him is LJ. Welcome to the show, LJ. It's good to have you.
Hey, thanks, big Salami. It's great to be here. Not a real big fan of the podcast, but my agent told me I should do some more charity work, so here I am.
Okay, nice. Well, we're going to kick this episode off with a jaw-dropping proposal by Doan, owner of Klein's Prison Pocket. He proposed that they add a rule that if your starting QB makes a tackle during the game, your team would get 100 points. What do you think about that, LJ? Good idea or ridiculous?
Well, I have to admit that would be a hilarious addition, but do you think the league commissioners would allow it? I mean, let's be honest, Salami, that could impact the matchup drastically if someone's quarterback gets a tackle. I mean, each week could be decided solely on pure luck.
Yeah, I totally agree. It would throw out the foundation of the classic point system put in place. The chances of one's quarterback getting a tackle during the game is almost infinitesimal, but in the event it happens, it would most likely be an automatic win for that week's matchup. That being said, I believe the league commissioner won't allow it just because it isn't something you draft quarterbacks for. But in the event they put this proposal in play, my first move would be to go in the free agency pool and pick up Matthew Stafford. Although, hold up, now that I think of it, Russell Wilson has the most career tackles, but Taysom Hill would honestly be the most logical if you figure tackles per game in their career. Honestly, you'd have to be a real gambler to even strategize for this scenario. So our real question should be, which one of these team owners has a big enough gambling problem to shake those dice and pick up one of these QBs for this proposal change? Because the three I mentioned are all free agents.
Well, I know Doan and Whitcop have real problems when it comes to gambling. If they just drive by a casino, their hands reach for imaginary dice on a craps table. I know Gogler is no slouch either when it comes down to the river. I'm not sure about any of the other owners, though.
Yeah, you're right about those three, and just like you, I'm not sure if there are other risk takers amongst the other 8 team owners. If I was a betting man, though, I'd say Bittner is a closet gambler, but I can't say for certain. I myself am not much of a gambler anymore. How about yourself, Lebron?
I don't care to answer that, and don't ask me any questions like that again, Salami, or I'll walk right out of this dump you call a studio.
Whoa! Hey, LeBron, what's going on? I was just doing what we do here. We talk about stuff and bounce ideas and questions off one another. I'm sorry if I offended you.
Man, I'm sorry, but you give off a real Michael Jordan is the GOAT kind of vibe, and I don't care to go down that rabbit hole with you. I'm kind of getting sick of it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I see how you could be frustrated with that GOAT talk day in and day out. But if we're being honest with each other, I'm not a MJ as the GOAT guy.
Hey, thanks, Big Salami. That means a lot to me that you think I'm the GOAT. I really do get sick.
Hey, I never said I thought you were the GOAT. I'm more of a Dan Marley kind of guy. I don't think anyone has ever given him a fair shake and thrown his name in the hat for GOAT. But that's just my opinion. So take no offense, LeBron. I think you're one of the greats. But to be honest, we're here to talk about fantasy football and the losers that play it. Toiling away, trying to find the perfect team combination to score the most points throughout the season so they have that one shred of satisfaction in their dismal lives. Like they accomplished something. So let's get back on track and trash talk these dopes and not each other. What did you say, LeBron? We good?
Yeah, big guy. You're a good dude and seem genuine. And to be honest, anyone that says Dan Marley is the GOAT has my friendship. So yeah, let's move on, buddy.
Okay, excellent. So I think we can put the proposal to the side and talk about what we're here for. This week, matchup predictions. Before Donald left, he gave me his picks, so you and I will examine the matchups and submit our picks for the week, as well as our other future weekly guest, Joe Rogan.
All right, that sounds great, Big Salami. So what's our first matchup we're looking at?
So the first matchup is between Beast's team, Tight Fit, and Doan's team, Klein's Prison Pocket, which of course is managed by Whitkop, aka the Equalizer. As you can see, Stewie gave us the visual of the matchup, and looking at it, we see Lamar Jackson and Bijan Robinson being the top point producers from Tight Fit's team. But to be totally honest and frankly surprised, Beast's team looks pretty sound top to bottom. And when we look over on the other side, we see Jordan Love and Breece Hall being Klein's Prison Pocket's top point producers. After that, things look shaky, but I've heard the whisperings of Doan and the Equalizer, and they feel they have some hidden gems in this team, starting with Dalton Kincaid. These two schmucks are comparing him to some legendary tight ends that I myself won't say on air, because I don't want to be tied to their fanatical rantings. But then, of course, if these two are right, I'll have to eat some crow. Either way, they feel they're going to be dominant this year, even though they'll be viewed as underdogs the first few weeks. That being said, I myself am going to go with Klein's Prison Pocket to win the matchup. Donald gave me his pick, and he's going with Tight Fit. How about you, LeBron and Joe?
Well, I guess I'm probably going to go with Klein's Prison Pocket too. I've always been a fan of the underdogs. So yeah, Klein's Prison Pocket for me, Big Salami. Oh, and I like that Breece Hall. Dude kind of reminds me of someone, but I can't put my finger on it.
Nice. How about you, Joe? Oh yeah, and welcome to the show, buddy. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you, Big Salami. It's absolutely an honor to be here. I mean, this studio is sketch as hell, but I guess I'm kind of spoiled with my setup.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. So what do you think, Tight Fit or Klein's Prison Pocket?
Well, although I do like the Equalizer as a GM and Doan's modern, if not enlightened way he runs his team, I have to go with Tight Fit. Numbers don't lie. And I had my friend Terrence Howard crunch these numbers for me.
Oh, okay. Terrence Howard, you say? Interesting. So as it stands, we have Donald and Joe going with Tight Fit and LeBron and myself taking Klein's Prison Pocket. Let's move on to the next matchup. It's between Kramer's team, the Trifling Bitches, and Klein's team, Deep Threats. Looking at this matchup, the first thing that jumps out at you is Klein's team is projected to win, but then you look over at Kramer's and notice CeeDee Lamb is listed as out for the game and isn't expected to play. Classic Kramer move, giving hope to the players that have trouble drafting. Then, at the last second, Shazam! The Trifling Bitches have 30 more points projected because Kramer finds some back alley running back that no one has heard of before, plays him, and the dude goes off for 4 touchdowns and 10 receptions out of the backfield. I mean, the first 3 years this guy was in the league after buying out Weist's team, he won it 3 years in a row. Guy's like a freaking wizard when he's on his game, but when he's off, he looks like Jar Jar Binks, blindly playing losers. So I'm honestly not sure what I want to do here. Play the odds that Kramer switches out CeeDee Lamb, or really shake the dice and go with Deep Threats. Sorry. It's just which Kramer are we going to get? Gandalf the White or Jar Jar Binks? I think I'm going to stick with the Trifling Bitches. I've seen Kramer pull so many rabbits from his hat in the past, I got to stick with my gut. How about you, LeBron? Who you going with?
So wait, what you're telling me is Deep Threats is the true underdog here, even though they're projected to score more points? Well, I guess that means I'm taking Deep Threats since they're the underdogs.
So hold up. You're telling me you're going to take the underdog in every matchup for the entire season, LeBron?
Well, I mean, if I feel a certain team is the underdog just due to past years and weekly performances, yes. I probably won't just look at the projected points to decide who I think is the underdog. I mean, obviously, Deep Threats will most likely be every week, but who knows? He may get lucky.
Okay, well, that's an interesting strategy. And I guess since the wager is $100 a week to the winner of these predictions, it works out in my favor for you to choose the underdogs. Free money for me. I just have to get by Donald and Joe, I guess, which brings us to Joe. Who you going with, my man? Wait. I need to retract something I said earlier so I don't get flamed by all the league know-it-all listeners. Kramer did not buy his team from Weist. He bought it from Kamlitz back in 2012. Phew, glad you caught that, Stewie.
Yeah, no problem. Big
Okay,
guy.
Joe, go ahead. Sorry about the interruption.
Yeah, okay, so I think I'm going to go with deep threats because Klein is one of Gogler's closest friends, and I love Gogler, so yeah, deep threats for me.
Oh my God, so you're telling me that you and LeBron are making your picks with absolutely no analytical data backing your picks. You gotta be kidding me. Don't answer that, just whatever. Donald told Nee he's going with trifling bitches for actual good reasons. Aside from Patrick Mahomes' matchup against the Ravens, Donald feels every one of Kramer's players will outperform Klein's, and he's confident trifling bitches will replace Lamb in the lineup, but is certain he'd beat him either way. Okay, let's move on to the next matchup. So here we have All Batman's team versus Dark Bittner, an early matchup of projected Titans going at each other, both estimated to score 155 plus points each. I like this matchup, and when you look at their starting position players, they are pretty well even till you get down to their flex position and Ds. That's where the real disparities come to light. We won't touch on their flex positions because both have hot garbage in those spots. But when it comes to team defenses, I have to take Dark Bittner all the way. I'm not sure what Warner's plan is using the Bears' defense. I guess they are playing the Tennessee Titans, but still, I hope he knows Urlacher is no longer there. Some of these owners live in the past, and Warner is known for his nostalgic ways of picking his roster slots. So after crunching the numbers, I'm going to go with Dark Bittner to win this matchup. How about you, LeBron? With how close these two are when it comes to projected points this week, where do you land when it comes to picking the winner of this matchup?
Well, with All Batman slated to score 156.4 and Dark Bittner at a 155.3, I'm going to go with Dark Bittner because, as you know, I'm going with the underdog.
Fantastic, and true to your word, I like it. How about you, Joe? Which way you think this matchup will swing?
Well, to be quite honest with you, Big Salami, you had me second guess my original pick, but I think I'm going to stick with it and go with All Batman's team, mainly because the Titans are dog water, and I see them getting a pick six or possibly a bunch of sacks since Titans O-line claps cheeks.
At least you put some analytics into your pick, and you're not just banking your decision on who's closer friends with Gogler over at Team 23. I also have Donald's pick here, and he's going with Dark Bittner since he has high hopes for this team and likes Bittner's flex positions more than Warner's. Okay, moving on. Our fourth matchup this week is between Team Ulmer and Team 23. All I have to say about this matchup is Team 23's Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, and the Browns defense. I'm going with Team 23. How about you, LeBron? Wait, let me guess. Team Ulmer is projected to lose by 9 points, which is the largest point differential in this week's matchups. So logic dictates that you'll take Ulmer, correct?
Yep.
Fantastic. And let me guess, Joe, you're taking Team 23. But just for fun, let me hear your reasons.
Yes, Salami, I am taking Team 23, and here's why. Gogler is the best. He's the ninja of the night, sneaking into your fantasy football dreams and slicing his katana across your hypothetical throat. He's as powerful as an ocean storm, relentlessly pounding his opponents into fodder for the crabs. He's like a tornado in a trailer park, a firecracker in a haystack, like lightning in a bottle. I could go on forever with my reasons, but I know we're on a time crunch.
Wow. Honestly, I can't believe I didn't think of those myself. I mean, spot on, totally reasonable and undeniable analytical data. I feel stupid for not saying it first. Okay, I lost my train of thought. Oh yes, Donald will take Team 23 for the exact same reasons Joe said. Moving on. Okay, that brings us to our fifth and final matchup of Week 1. Melmer's Houday and the Blowfish versus Roosevald's team, Russ's Rumblers. But before we dive into everyone's picks, I think we should discuss a possible name change for Roosevald's team. I mean, it's time, buddy. So I had Stewie bust his butt and research Roosevelt to see what we could come up with. He dove in head first down this rabbit hole and came back with some good stuff we feel we can combine with some players on his roster for some epic names. I mean, when you were voted most eligible bachelor of the 80s, you think you'd incorporate some of that into your fantasy team name, but obviously Roosevelt is too modest and humble for that. But we're not, so here we go. One of the things Stewie found out other than being the hottest commodity for the ladies in the 80s, was all his ex-girlfriends had pet names for him. So we recorded them all and will present to you the top 3, then try to mix in some football player names from his roster. So remember, we're just using the top 3 pet names his plethora of girlfriends gave him. Coming in at number 3 was Dimples, number 2 was McDreamy, and number 1 by a landslide was Skittles. So to show you what we're going for, guys, I'll go first. How about Taste the Kieran Bow?
Oh, I like that one. You incorporated the Skittles slogan, Taste the Rainbow, but used Kyrant. Oh, so good, Big Salami.
Oh, yeah, I agree. That is a good one, Dave. But what do you think about Ayuk's McDreamy plays?
I think it's fantastic. You got one for us, Joe?
I don't know. I'm not too sure if I like it, but I was thinking Deshaun's Dimple Dash or Dimples for Deshaun. I'm not sure which one I like, if either, but Taste the Kai Renbo is great, I think.
Yeah, I like Deshaun's Dimple Dash. I like Dimples for Deshaun too. Honestly, think we banged out 3 or 4 good ones right off the top. Maybe we should just move on to our picks. And before I reveal my final pick, I have to confess I do want Houday and the Blowfish to succeed. Melmer and I are both Bengals fans, so there is this unspoken connection between us. Nothing weird for all you sickos out there. Just a mutual respect, I guess. Okay, Russ's Rumblers. My final decision. Let's mix this up a little and go to Joe first this time. Who you picking to win this matchup?
Well, Dave, I see this one going to Russ's Rumblers. I'm pretty sure him and Gogler are tight-knit, and I think even lived or worked in the same town for a while. I'm not certain, and we'll have to look deeper into that. But, yeah, Russ's Rumblers for me.
Yet another wise and intelligent reason for your pick. LeBron, let's have it. Who you picking?
Well, Big Salami, I'm going with Houday and the Blowfish, not just because they're the underdogs, but because Melmer is a Bengals fan. I mean, that takes courage. And I like guys that put themselves out there in spite of scrutiny and shame. So good on Melmer and good on you, Big Dave. And if you don't mind, I'd like to add one thing before we wrap it up. The Bengals jerseys are absolute fire. I just wanted to put that out there. Oh, and can I keep this jersey you gave me with the unicorn on it? This thing is bussing. Guys back home are going to be so jelly.
Yes, Bengals jerseys are fire, and absolutely, it's my gift to you. I appreciate you filling in for Donald, and if you have time and want to, you could come back every week. That would be awesome.
I'll look at my schedule and see what I can do. I may have misjudged how cringe this podcast was before I came on, but you're growing on me, Big Salami, so we'll see.
Excellent. So that brings us to Donald's pick, and to my surprise, he's going with Houday and the Blowfish. He's got a note down here that just says, Kick Fear Son is good people. So that'll do it. We'll have Stewie put the predictions up one more time before we wrap it up. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back around September 10th or 11th with Week 1 results and our picks for Week 2. Good luck this week, and let's go!